What would you say that made you successful from the beginning? Because to do 24 deals your first year.
I now have a bunch of agents on my team, so I get to see people, and the ones that make it and the ones that don't. It comes down to the freaking grit and grind. And it's like, hey, if your back's up against the wall, if you have a plan B in place and you're starting in real estate, let me tell you, you're going to take that plan B because it's way easier route than going real estate.
Ask you this, what has been the most challenging time as an individual agent and then as a business owner?
Holy crap. I wanted to pull my hair out. I wanted to quit a million times. I've only cried once in this, and I had a breakdown, and I basically fell to my knees and got out. So I basically was fell to my knees outside of a Starbucks, and I was like, oh shit. And then this old man picked me up and was like, son, it'll be okay. And I was like, is this like an angel?
Even in the marketplace right now where there is very limited inventory, what would you say that you guys are doing to get offer?
And we sold 200 VA buyers with 0 down.
Hi everybody, this is Jose Luis Morales. Welcome back to the Residual Real Estate Agent Show. This is episode number 97. Today we've got a very special guest. His name is Mark Pattison. He is the CEO of Porchlight. They're a real estate team. They sell approximately 800 units for about 500 million in production. He's done so in a relatively small time in 5 years. Today, we're just going to be going through his journey, how he went from individual agent to running the #1 team in Southern California based on units sold. Welcome to the show, Mark. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
One of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, it's impressive to see what you have done from growing a team from 0 to 500 million in 5 years. Do you mind just kind of starting off by sharing with us who is Mark Pattison and how did you get involved in the real estate industry?
Yeah, so I was living in Chicago. It was a little cold, and I said, I'm going to move to Southern California and become a real estate agent. So 8 years ago, I moved to San Diego, and about 6.5 years ago, I got my license and just started out as a sole agent. Sold 24 my first year. At that point, I kind of was thinking, I should hire on maybe an admin, transaction coordinator, partnership. So I got someone that could do my TC work, as well as my, run around, put signs in the yard, change flyers out. And I just prospected like crazy. And then I brought on my first team member a little too premature. I think I brought him on. It was because I was busy, but then also people were seeing, hey, you're so new like me and you're finding success, like teach me. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, I'll teach you, but this is what we're going to do for the information. The way that I kind of structured my model is I signed up for Tom Ferry coaching right when I got licensed, and I'm still in Tom Ferry coaching. So I signed up my first week and just surrounded myself with people that were already doing it. So teams 5 years ago were not the same as what teams are today. Mm-hmm. So our kind of I'm not afraid of change. So when I find something better or I can work on, let's freaking do it. Like on Wednesday last week, I said, hey, my office is too small. I need to freaking blow out this wall and build another thing. So this last weekend, they built me an entirely new office that's on the other side of my building. And I'm like, all right, I need double the square footage. So I had to figure that out.
Cool, man. My theory has always been that the best real estate agents are the ones that are able to adapt, because everything's always changing around you and you have to be flexible to that. What would you say that made you successful from the beginning? Because to do 24 deals your first year, was it the fact that you got involved with other people doing it, or did you have something else that also contributed to that?
No, I mean, I think it's like I now have a bunch of agents on my team, so I get to see people, and the ones that make it and the ones that don't. It comes down to the freaking grit and grind. And it's like, hey, if your back's up against the wall, if you have a plan B in place and you're starting in real estate, let me tell you, you're going to take that plan B because it's way easier route than going real estate. Real estate's freaking tough when you're starting out. After year 2, it's like, shit, people won't stop calling me to list their houses. It's just like nonstop. It gets easier and easier. But I think it was hard work. My back was against the wall. I was told I wasn't going to be able to be successful. So I'm like, hey, watch me. And then also the fact that what else am I going to do? I was turning 30. I always had jobs, but I never loved them. I never turned them into a career. So I figured, what's something that's challenging where I'm never, ever mastered? Like, it's always problem solving. I mean, I've got P&L on my desk. I've got freaking there's something new all the time. I love that about real estate. So I'm never bored. And I think that my background, my parents were business owners, that I had great education, like that combination, not saying everyone has to have it, but it works. It helps.
At that time, where would you say you were getting most of your business? Like when you were doing 24 deals, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, it was online leads was like the main thing. And then just going off of like open houses, doing as much floor time. Basically, I said, hey, every single day I'm going to work 7 days a week. And I did that for 2 years straight. I mean, I still like Saturdays and Sundays are my favorite because I can get the most work done. I love coming into my office on Saturday and Sunday because there's people here, but there's no meetings, there's no, there's no Zoom calls. It just really lets me work.
It's quieter. Yeah. I almost, especially with the escrow offices closed, at least for me. At what point did you actually start thinking about building out a team? Was this something from the beginning because of your business background, or was this something that you kind of just experienced at Tom Ferry, or what did that look like?
Yeah, it kind of landed in my lap as people just wanted to join me, like I said. And then naturally, I think just because my parents being business owners, I've always been around as like the leader, the one in charge. So I think I had those characteristics already. And from it, people just kept joining me. And yes, some would fall off, but I mean, I still got some people that are 4.5 years on my team. Yeah. And there's people that are just, I got a girl that's a little over 4 years on my team, and she did 33 million this year. So they're doing some good volume for San Diego too.
Yeah. What would you say was some of the challenges that you experienced as a new agent growing a team at the beginning of your career, or some of the challenges that maybe even as an individual agent?
Ooh, it's expensive. When you start out and you're building a team and you're paying for leads and you're closing homes and your agents aren't closing and you're out on appointments and you're like, hey, how can I train these people? It is. And that's why I think so many people try to start a team because they think it's sexy. Guys, if you're not cut out for it and you don't got a bunch of reserves, don't do it. I think that being a solo agent is sexy. Like you can run shop. The thing is that I don't want to be in that grind all the time. I now have a bunch of other businesses that I work on. So real estate's just one of my pillars. And I've got, my rental properties. I've got a farm in Iowa. I've got an alcohol company. So I'm on the board for like all these different things. It allows me to venture out because I am an entrepreneur at heart. It allows me to create more. I'm opening this quarter. I'll have 4 new businesses. So
awesome.
That's what I want to focus on.
What about your progression? Let's talk about your progression. So like first year you did 24 deals. Second year, if you even remember the numbers, do you mind kind of going through the progression?
Yeah, it's first year was 24, second year was 73, third year was 125, fourth year was 246. Fifth year, so first year was 24, I was solo. Fifth year was 407 with the team. And this year, 800, almost double every year. My goal next year is 1,500 units and $1 billion in volume.
That's awesome. And what would you need to do to get to 1,500 units and $1 billion in volume? What would be the formula to get there?
We just reverse engineer it. So we just did business planning session for my bottom 3 tiers of agents. So we chop it up into quartiles. So I had, because what I'm coaching my mastery agents, which is my top level, is different than what I coach my core. So my core agents or my foundation agents are people who are maybe a couple sales a month. Whereas my elite, they're getting, 2 to 3 sales a month. And then my mastery is 3+ a month. And so once I'm done with my business planning session for the year, I can go back and look and see if their goals total up to what my goal is. And I can look at the newer agents, the ones that are like, I'm going to sell 40 homes a year. And I'm like, no, you're not. Not going to be the Debbie Downer. If you can do it, fantastic. But you know what? I haven't seen someone do it yet. So we'll see. I have agents. I mean, I got one girl 10 months in so far, and she's sold $20 million so far. And she just got licensed in March.
Yeah. May I ask, what is the value proposition to them for being on your team? Because obviously, if you're doing that amount of volume, I'm sure that some people think, well, why not just do it on my own? What would you say is your value proposition to the agents, and a reason why they'd rather work with you versus kind of just do it independently?
Yeah, so it's based off of relationships now. More than ever, consumers are finding agents online. So Zillow, Realtor, all these different websites and platforms that I'm partnered with, those leads are coming to our team. And even if you want to buy those leads, they're not going to go to you. So the relationships are what matter. So I've built those relationships, and that's how my agents are able to get these lead sources. You can go and buy Zillow Premier, but Zillow Premier is not Zillow Flex. Zillow Flex, you have to be invited to, which we're part of. They measure, they do a lot of different things to make sure that we stay accountable. Zillow Premier, well, when they go and get an agent or get a client, they decide where that client's going to go. And with someone that they know is going to close it, so they hand us a lot of really good leads.
Awesome. Okay. So basically you're generating the leads for them basically.
Yeah. Leads, training, accountability. I have Porchlight University. I have a mentorship program. We have ancillary businesses. So I just promoted one of my girls. She's now our insurance rep for my insurance company. We've got another company opening up for like a gift company that we brought another employee from. So there's a growth within Porchlight. So I don't want people to kind of like, I always say like, hey, leads are fantastic, but that's just your foundation. After 2 years, you shouldn't be on my leads anymore. You should have been able to build enough back business off of those people that you can now kind of create your own business within Porchlight. And you're going to stay on the team and you're just going to run with that. You can use our CRM, you can use our email, but you're more on like, we call it Porchlight, like a lighter version. So that's what we want to kind of build. We want to see them grow through this. And I don't want my kids to go off to college and disappear. I want them to stay here. I'm like that. I call it a cult, or they call it a cult. I'm like, I build you up and I won't let you leave.
That's funny. What does a day-to-day look like for you now? Like, yeah.
It's mostly like management meetings. So I'll meet with the different departments. I just had the CEO of the alcohol company in here. The founder of GoFundMe is going to be here in 13 minutes to my office, which is pretty sweet. He's only worth $600 million. So having these like, which is weird. Like I moved to San Diego on a freaking moped 8 years ago with an air mattress. Like I was a nobody. And now I have like some cool people coming into my office. So it's a mix. Like I do a podcast like you. I'm constantly educating, putting myself out there. The more you put yourself out there, you're not going to see, like, I think my YouTube show sucks, but people my neighbor, she's like an old lady riding her bike by and she's like, Mark, I love your YouTube show. I'm watching it every day. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I keep doing it because I know it does work. I'm just going to put in the effort. And I think that it's like consistency pays off. So anyone who thinks, hey, this isn't working, the only reason why I'm successful or the only reason why someone else might be is because they didn't freaking give up. Like, and when they got successful, they didn't stop. Like Michael Jordan, he's going to show up and do free throws all day long and get there before and be the last one to leave. Well, if you want to be a good agent, freaking show up. I had a new girl start today. She didn't know who I was, which was fantastic. And she's in here at 7:45 and no one was here yet. Everyone shows up around 8. And she was like, oh, hey. And then she was like, wait, are you the guy from the welcome video? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And she goes, wait, you're Mark? And she goes, I thought it might be you, but I wasn't sure. So she didn't know I was the owner. But she's showing up that early, day one. And I told her, I said, hey, look, hard work doesn't go unnoticed. You want what you want out of this company, you will get it. Like work your ass off and I'll provide that for you.
That's awesome. Good, man. What would you say, like in order to continue attracting agents, what would you say you've done well to do that?
Give value, give value, give value. You don't have to be good at recruiting. You have to be good at inviting. So in order to invite, you got to have something people want. So put yourself out there, be vulnerable. Here's the thing. If you're doing anything wrong, I'm sure on my podcast, my YouTube, people make fun of it. I give two shits. I do not care because it works. So like, I know that it's stupid and I feel like I'm an influencer and I hate it, but I'm like, I don't care. It works. It gets me to my end goal. So if you focus on that and just keep giving value to people and inviting them and training them and being that person that's not like holding your secrets in, trust me, your secrets, you don't have any secrets. Everyone can copy your business however they want, but if it's all about teaching them and helping them out. And if you can help people, they're never going to leave you.
So what does the training for a Porchlight look like? And what are you actually inviting them to? Are you like inviting them to like a meeting with you? Or are you inviting them to one of the trainings that you guys have?
Yeah, we do weekly training. So the biggest thing is consistency. So we do 11 to 1 every single Wednesday. It's a training that's held by myself, maybe every other month. We have a sales trainer. We got a sales manager. We've got other people that jump in, vendors that will train, and it really goes through. And then I also created a university. So when they come on our team, the first 30 days are all mapped out for them. The CRM has leads for them on day one. So we got this kind of launch pad for agents. And then they can come in and check in on that 11 to 1. Then we're going to have our sales manager meet with them and do like a productivity coaching call. It's in person. So they'll like go over that, chat about what's best working for them, what's working for scripting, what's not working. And then that's at like week 2. So they've already done some calls. Then they got that. And then pretty soon by 30 days in the business, they usually have an escrow.
Yeah. Where does most of the business from Porchlight come from?
Online leads. So it's all online lead generated.
Google Ads.
Realtor.com, Zillow Flex, Veterans United, Homelight, Upnest, referral, fast referrals, Ojo, Rise, OpCity. So it's a mix of everything. You don't have to do all of them, but here's the other thing is like OpCity, they're not going to give you good leads when you start, but once you start converting, then they will.
What percentage of the business would you say is sellers versus buyers?
87% buyers. So we're very buyer heavy focused. So that's why we're starting that client care program. So post closing, we're going to have the agents opt into a 2-year program that we have a follow-up team. So then we can get their listing.
That's impressive. So even in the marketplace right now where there is very limited inventory, what would you say that you guys are doing to get
offers? And we sold 200 VA buyers with 0 down.
So let me ask you a question. What would you say are some of the things that you guys are doing well to get those offers accepted?
Rapport, be a friendly person. Don't be your freaking like typical agent that's rude. San Diego has the best agents in the world. Yeah. We're all so happy and nice to each other. Like we laugh about it. We're like, there's no like butting heads. Like we don't get paid unless we all do the work, and we want to do the best for our client, of course. You know what? Getting the offer accepted is doing the best for our client in this market.
Yeah.
So treat your freaking peers with respect, provide value. At the end of the transaction, write them a review. So like if you and I did a transaction and you were a good agent, I'd go on your Google page and I'd write you a review coming from Mark, a real estate agent, and say, hey, look, Jose and I don't work together, but we did a deal on 123 Main Street. I have to say the guy's so professional, the things I liked about him. So if you get him, if you're a client looking for an agent, he's fantastic.
That's awesome.
And then they're like, dude, you wrote me a review on my page. I'm like, yeah, well, you were good. Like, we're not kissing their ass, but it helps them. Doing events where you do trainings, opening yourself up. When you write an offer, don't ever CC the agent. Like if you're jumping on a plane and you signed it and you're waiting for your buyers to sign and you know you're not going to be able to send the email, maybe CC them on the DocuSign, but always download the PDFs, upload it to a nice email template with the summary, make it look presentable so they don't have to sort through it, and follow up with that agent. Make sure the lender's calling and introducing themselves.
Do you feel like the reputation for the company also helps now? Because obviously
they know we're gonna close.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. As you grow a big company like the one that you have now, what are some of the different leadership positions that you have? I overheard that you said you have a sales manager, you have a probably an ops person. What would you say like the structure of the company now is?
Yeah, so it's pretty light. Right now we got our ops manager, who's kind of the person right below me. He is kind of my filter. And so we got below them, we have a person that's onboarding, HR, kind of the culture queen. Still got to figure out the title for that person because it's like anything and everything. We then have the sales trainer who's in charge of training any of the agents that are core and foundation agents. So those minimum transaction people, his job is to coach them up to elite. And then we have that's our sales manager. We have a sales trainer who's an active agent. The sales manager is not active. He does transactions for his family and like little ones here and there, but his full-time job is to be in the office. And then we got a transaction coordinator department. The transaction coordinator has 2 virtual assistants. And that's it. It's basically everyone. Operations manager, sales manager. Yeah.
That's awesome. What would you say like the marketing budget? How has that progressed like from like when you started off?
We don't market. We don't have anyone in marketing.
the online leads, is
So
it
online
based?
lead budget. Yeah. So we do that. Yeah, it's for sure. What we look at it is track and measure everything. So if you're getting an ROI on it and you got the agents, what I say is if you have a top tier quality lead, like a realtor.com, Zillow Flex, et cetera, agents should max out about 15 leads a month, 15 to 20. 20 is a lot. So if you give them more than 20, it's just they're pulling low hanging fruit. They're not prospecting. And then you're not going to have very high conversion. You're going to have low conversion. You're going to be negative. So focus on how many leads they're getting, set rules in place, and then go from there. But our budget right now for lead spend is probably around 80,000 a month.
A month. That's reasonable for the amount of volume that you guys are doing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And obviously that gets spread out through the different organizations. Are you guys attracting mainly seasoned agents,
New.
or is it mainly newer agents that you guys
We
are?
want new agents. So we love agents that have maybe been at another brokerage for a couple months. And it's not necessarily the brokerage thing. It's just that people don't have things set up to really structure out a new agent. It takes too much time. My program is tiered for that. It's been created for that. So that's what I focus on bringing on as new agents.
Newer agents. Okay, good. And then would you say you guys are almost like a brokerage versus a team?
Yeah. I mean, we got our own storefront. We got different departments within here. So yeah, it's like a brokerage.
That's awesome. Good for you, man. Good. And then what about the EXP model? Why did you guys make the switch to EXP? And obviously this is not the EXP show, but obviously.
Yeah, well, it should freaking be. So moving to EXP has been the best freaking decision of my life. But also I hate being salesy, so I will never be one of the people that call you for it. So, but coolest thing of why I switched to EXP was that it's just your association of who you're surrounding yourself with. Truly my mentors in San Diego County, and it doesn't even matter if they're across the country or wherever. I have two guys, Dan Beer and Kyle Whistle. They've been the top of the business for years in San Diego. They're amazing. They will pour into the group insane amounts. And so I get to have that as my value add. I'm so dang busy on other stuff I'm implementing that I can only go to those meetings like every so often. It's not because they're not good. It's that because they're too good. And I have too many to-dos when I'm done with it. And my role in life, like I've never listened to a podcast before. So I always think like I have so many other things that I've got from conferences and I don't have time. I already need to implement what I'm implementing. So I think that it's with association and who you surround yourself with. There's no way if you're surrounded by successful people, you're going to be successful. So that's why I joined EXP. I didn't even understand rev share. I didn't understand stock. I didn't understand any of that, but I do know you can sell your stock for the people that say you can't. And two, I bought a $2 million building, which I'm in right now. And I freaking remodeled the crap out of it. And then I'm demoing this building and building a $21 million condo / hotel. So the stock you can sell, you just have to wait for it to vest. Rev share is real. It's cash. It's an amazing program. I'm not against any of the other brokerage models, but they don't work. They don't work for me. I mean, there's no way you can run a profitable team and shoot for 30% margins if you're out of production, if you're giving 20% away to another company.
Yeah, no, I agree. Not only that, but like the retention part, once an agent has rev share of $2,000, they're not going anywhere, you know?
No.
Also when one of the problems that brokers have is recruiting or attracting agents, and you have your agents helping you attract more agents as well too.
We hired 4 agents. We hired 4 agents this week. All 4 of them came from agents on my team.
From referrals, basically.
My agents' goals are our goal. We do financial Fridays. If you want anything nice, it has to come from residual income. So I don't care if you want to recruit to EXP or not. That's fine. If you're on my team, you don't have to recruit. I don't care. But if you get someone that comes into your downline, or if you have a rental property or whatever, then you can go buy that Tesla. But your Tesla payment of $600 or $700, whatever it is, better be covered by rev share or a building that you own or whatever your rental is. Because if you're just spending money that you're making selling real estate, that's not fun. So we say any luxury item or any item that you don't need has to be paid for by passive income.
Cool. You mentioned that Porchlight is almost like a cult. And now obviously you mentioned a little bit about how your agents are buying nice things on their residual income. How would you describe the culture at Porchlight?
It is kind of funny. We always joked because it's like we were all sitting around at one of our team retreats and someone goes, I have a question. And we're all like drunk and like at the fireplace, like at a fire pit. I think it was in Joshua Tree. And they go, I have a question. So if none of us leave, do we just keep selling real estate till we're 80? Like, are we all going to be here together when we're 80 years old? And I was like, shit, no one does leave. So maybe Porchlight just keeps living on forever. Yeah, that's the culture. People want to help. People want to see people succeed. And the thing is we always reflect back and say, hey, look back a year. Were you a better person today than you were a year ago? Did you make more money? Yes. Like that's what Porchlight does to you. So that's why they say it's a cult, because no one wants to leave.
That's awesome. And then what would you say you guys do? Like, what type of events do you guys do? It sounds like you guys do team travel event. What does that look like, and how often are those events? Because I imagine that helps the culture as well too.
Yeah, we have it split up. So we go on a couple of different trips you can win. So there's one that's like part of a lead team. So our lead team is like a military one, and the basis is out of like where we get all the leads is out of Missouri. So we go to Lake of the Ozarks. That's for one of them. Another one is a contest where you can win. So it doesn't matter which level you're on, mastery, elite, core, foundation. If you do leading indicators, you can win a ticket to somewhere. So we did last year, we did Nashville, and we took 15 people to Nashville. We're doing our mastery team retreat for the, not team retreat, but like our business planning session. So the top agents, we're going to Mexico in January 3rd. And then we did a Tulum trip like 3 weeks ago. We all went to Tulum. That was just for fun. That wasn't even work. Everyone just wanted to go to Tulum together. So kind of weird when you want to hang out with your coworkers all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's always something. And we do Tom Ferry events
as well too. Now for conversion, it sounds like you guys have a very defined process as to how to convert the leads. Do you mind kind of going over that really quickly?
Yeah. So, I mean, it starts with don't give your agents too many leads. So like I said, 20 max, that's kind of a lot depending on the lead source. You know, if you have like a low converting lead, you can't really give them only 20 because they won't ever sell a house. But start with that and then have someone that's responsible for that team. So if you got a few people, if you have someone that can be charged of Zillow, so then you have someone that can report all the numbers to you and also take some accountability and also get some revenue from it as well. So that would be a great way for like making sure that someone is responsible. And then we also make sure if a lead comes in, we have lead shifts. So that person's getting called within 3 seconds. So there's no like speed to lead issues. They're getting that dial immediately. And then there's a standard procedure for what happens when they get the lead. If the person doesn't answer, they call them back. If they don't answer, call them back. Then they shoot them a text. They shoot them a video text. So it's like a lot of steps in a row to convert that lead on step one. If they get an appointment with them, we have the process like, hey, go show them a couple houses, bring this buyer consult packet, present this on the buyer consult, and then you can convert.
That's awesome. So it's basically
a lot of
very defined process.
Oh yeah, it's the same every process. And the ones that do it take off. The ones that are like, oh, I have my own way, they leave and then they go sell luxury or go to, and it never happens.
That's funny. Do you have GoFundMe coming by right now at a certain
Pretty
time?
soon, yeah, I do. Apparently, the founder of GoFundMe is coming to my office. Maybe he can fund some of my habits. No, yeah, he's just through a company that I own. They're bringing him by to kind of chat. So
that's awesome. Good.
Yeah.
Other thing I wanted to go over with you, so obviously it's led to ancillary services now. It sounds like you have an insurance company. It sounds like you have a couple of other different businesses.
Yep.
What does that look like? And how do you manage that as well too?
Yeah. So same thing, my operations guy, the one that's kind of like my filter, he is the person for all of them. I'm on the board for the alcohol company. So I do have to like go to board meetings, but I like giving my tips and advice on different things. Mm-hmm. For insurance, it's kind of ran by one of our gals, but she reports to my operations manager. And then I look at the reports. So what happens is all those people report to that person. He makes sure that the dashboard that I see on Fridays is all complete and that all makes sense. And then I look at that dashboard. It's called my Friday report. I click on the link and I'll just look at the dashboard to see how everything's going. So it looks in like alternate lenders used. It looks at conversion. It looks at, are we trending up on conversion? Are we going down on conversion? As
a CEO, like obviously conversion is one of the numbers that you look at. What other numbers do you look at as well too now?
Personally, for me, I look at how many leads per agent's getting because I want to make sure it doesn't get too high over that 20 amount because then people stop. going after it. I also look at, sales numbers. So conversion dollar amount. So I know the percentage, but I also want to know how much have we invested total into realtor.com this year? What have we made? So I look at all those different aspects to make sure that we're still looking towards profitability.
Or are you guys helping the agents with the transaction once it goes into escrow, or are they kind of doing that on their own?
Yeah, so they get it under contract. They fill out a form. We have it through Cognito Forms, which is a fancy Google form. It then goes to the appropriate parties depending on what they selected. So it'll automatically go to our transaction department. They'll upload that up to SkySlope, which is the backend system that our brokerage uses. And then we go from there. So we do have a transaction team. We then have the insurance rep call out, hey, this is Katie with Goosehead Insurance, with the company. Congratulations on getting the contract with Joe at Porchlight. I work with their team. I'm in their office. Next steps are getting your insurance in place and then passing it off to the lender if anything from the lender needs, and also scheduling your inspection. And then afterwards, after closing, our concierge team calls them, which they got a gift from them, from our closing department. And then the concierge team calls them to make sure everything's okay.
I've always had a vision that I love the insurance model with real estate. They go hand in hand. It's a great way to build it. It's also residual as well too, which is obviously what you want to build, especially with EXP. You said 3 seconds per lead. How important is how fast you talk to the lead, and how do you? I didn't understand 100% how you're able to make that happen.
Yeah, so we do lead shifts. So basically, anytime a lead comes into our team, so I have 90 agents. 40 of them have not sold a house, 50 have. So the ones that haven't are not getting leads yet. The ones that have are on lead shifts. So they sign up. It's 9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6. And it's in office. They're basically signing up for a floor time. There'll be 4 people in here at a time. And the way the system works is a lead comes in from Zillow or Realtor or wherever, and it'll go into the appropriate people. So it'll come here and then it'll basically like ding all their phones, and the first one to grab it gets it. So there's 4 people on it immediately, and they're at a desk with their computer open, ready to set an appointment.
And they have to be here. They have to be
single moms. If they have a reason, if something's going on, they can cancel their lead shift at any time. But there are some people that I have approved to work from home if like they have a scenario that doesn't permit.
Based on the conversion, basically metrics.
Yeah, it's like if you're not converting, you're not going to get leads anyways. But if you are like you're converting, and like I got Erin on my team. She's got an 11-year-old boy. Like he's got to go to baseball practice sometimes, and like she'll tell us when she can be on and off, and we're cool with that. We got Sarah. She's got 2 kids, so I don't want to be the guy that doesn't help out their life. Yeah. I want to be able to make sure that they can have a little bit of flex. If the dude's 20 years old and he doesn't have any kids and he's single, it's like freaking be here. But if you got family stuff, family's more important than real estate. So go focus on that.
How big is the building that you bought at 2 million?
5,000. And then, I bought 2 next to each other. So I bought a 5,000 square foot building that I remodeled, and then I bought a house next door. So the total came to 2.5 million.
So you get to walk to work. Do you live at the house next door or no?
No. My house is over there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Because I live in the same community where my office is at, and I get to ride a go-kart occasionally to work, or even like a scooter. And
I could bike here. It's not far. It's probably like 2 miles.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. Good. So pretty damn easy.
Good, man. And then at what point did you stop selling real estate, or do you still sell real estate at all?
I stopped before COVID. And then when COVID hit, I was like, so I jumped back in. But I was stopped about 6 months before COVID hit. And I'm out now. Yeah. Once I realized like everything was gonna be okay, I stopped selling. But I jumped in for about 2 months and sold a crap ton.
Yeah, that's awesome. And at that point, was it just more of, hey, look, the marketplace could be shifting, I need to increase the profitability, or what was the reasoning for jumping in?
Yeah, I mean, I've only been a real estate agent since 2015. So it's like I've only experienced the good times. And my mind immediately went to 2008, 2009. And I'm like, hey, look, I better freaking got some reserves set up. Otherwise, something's going to be going on. So,
yeah. But let me ask you this. What has been the most challenging time as an individual agent, and then as a business owner for the Porchlight?
As an individual agent, it's just the roller coaster when you're first starting out. It's not easy. You get a check, you think you're rich, you get a $20,000 commission, and then you're like, oh, 10 of it goes to the government. And then you're like, all right, write-offs, all that other stuff. But it does pull, and then you got to reinvest money into your business. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, my pipeline's dried up. So that's the tough part when you're a solo agent, the consistency. But I mean, after that, I was only a solo agent for 1 year. So if you're in it for a while and you still don't have consistency, like you need a coach, like you're not prospecting enough. Starting a team, holy crap. I wanted to pull my hair out. I wanted to quit a million times. I've only cried once in this, and I had a breakdown, and I basically like fell to my knees and got out. So I basically was like, fell to my knees outside of a Starbucks, and I was like, oh shit. And then this old man picked me up and was like, son, it'll be okay. And I was like, is this like an angel? I was like, who is this? But it was like an 85-year-old man, like put my head on his shoulder, because I was just like spending way too much money, selling a shit ton of houses, but I was negative. And I just felt like it wasn't clicking. And then finally it ended up working.
That's awesome.
I don't cry anymore.
How important was having Daniel Beer and Kyle Whistle in situations like that?
I didn't have any. So once I switched to EXP, my stuff was already pretty streamlined. But I went from 247 units at the last company where I was with Phil Green, actually, same company.
Nice.
Yeah. So we worked at the same brokerage. And then the other one, when I moved over, it really was just like, oh, then I went to 407. Then I went to 800. What's the difference of like surrounding yourself with people like Kyle and Dan, and just like, I mean, myself included, will brainwash you into believing you can do anything, because you can. Like everything's possible. So just let's do it. And they're willing, like, hey, let me know when you need help, and I'm here to help you. So that's what I like about the group.
Yeah. The $2 million building, did you buy that with an SBA loan?
I did not. I bought it with my stock from EXP. So I didn't pay cash for the whole thing, but I did do a hefty bounce down.
That's awesome.
My payment's only $6,000 a month.
How did so you basically, was that stock earned or stock bought at the 5% discount, or was it just stock that you invested in?
It was stock purchased. Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
then I bought it at, I think, at like $5 a share, and it went up to what, 80 something before the split. And
so it was big. You cashed out.
I sold
big time.
I sold at the right time.
Good for you, man. So you got into, how long have you been with EXP if you were buying at $5 a share?
It was, I think, March of 2020. So almost 2 years.
Oh, but was a stock at $5?
It was, I got in right before it took off.
Wow.
Good. Like it was like maybe like 2 months or 3 months before it took off.
Yeah, because I think I got in when it was like 30 or like 20 something. And then it started, that's crazy.
You'll have to look at the map. I don't know my exact start date, but it was like so we're in 2021, almost. Yeah, I'm almost at my 2-year mark.
Good for you. And then last question, who do you go for coaching? I know that you talked about Tom Ferry. I know that obviously your mentors. Who are the other people that you go for coaching, and any books or podcasts that you'd recommend?
I've never listened to a podcast before, not even my own, which is called Mark Pattison Show. I don't know if anyone should listen to it, but I have one. And the books I recommend, if you're a new agent, prospecting one, Go for No and Fanatical Prospecting. If you're a team leader, there's a book called, I actually have it right here, The $1 Million Real Estate Team. I'll pull this one out. This is my book for if you're a team leader.
That's awesome.
Definitely suggest that one. And I mean, I think it's not about the like content, like consuming too much content isn't necessarily a good thing. It's like too many leads, less content, more implementation.
Cool. And then any piece of advice or any final words for our viewers, for real estate agents, if they're looking to get started in real estate, if they're looking to maybe build the team?
Yeah, I would say follow some people that you think that you can be influenced by. Like I said, I got my YouTube channel, Mark Pattison Show. You can check out this podcast. If you go on this all the time, like, and if you want to be part of it, like you only got one life to live. Like if you want to be great, then act great. That's something I tell my team. So what are some things that great people do? They learn, they implement, they move on to the next thing. Like you just have a plan and go for it.
That's awesome. Good, man. I've enjoyed the interview. For our viewers, this was episode number 97 of the Real Estate Residual Show. Last thing, where could people find you? I know that you kind of mentioned it briefly.
Yep. Mark Pattison Show on Instagram. That's gonna be the best place, or on YouTube. So it's Pattison. So
Awesome.
there's no R, none of that stuff.
Cool. Well, I've enjoyed having you on. If I could ever be of service to you, I'm happy to help in any way that I can. And thanks again for sharing this information with our viewers.
Definitely, man. Thanks so much.